What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the farm. I got my helper Taryn here with me today, and we are going to start inoculating some of these logs with mushroom spores. Mushroom spawn or spores, I forget exactly. I always get it confused as to what it is. But anyway, what we've got here right now is we've got a pile of some hickory logs that came down whenever we cut them down here to make room for the new barn, which this is the first. No, I did the barn video where I walked through the barn, but other than that, this is the first video, I guess, that we're actually doing in the barn. And we're out here right now in the lean-to area. So we've got hickory logs here, and then over here we've got some sawtooth oak logs. This was a sawtooth oak at my parents' house that split during some high winds one day, and they were perfect for the bigger logs we saved for firewood, but then these other smaller 3 to 4 inch diameter logs, they were really good and straight, and I was like, hey, I'm going to keep those for mushrooms. So one thing to keep in mind is different types of mushrooms prefer different species of wood. Alright, I had to go get the mushroom spawn packages. Let me make sure what this is called. Spores, not spawn. Mushroom spores. I keep getting that mixed up for whatever reason. But what we've got is, for the hickory logs, I've got some Shiitake spore. And these are actually the plugs. You can buy, and these all came from North Spore Mushroom spawn. And you can actually do loose, powdery spawn that you mix in with sawdust and create your own plugs. They also have grow bags and all kinds of different stuff. But what I did was I bought the pre-sized plugs. And what you have is, and you'll see a little bit later, I've got a drill over there. I'm going to go down these logs. I'm going to drill holes spaced out evenly. Taryn's going to then take these plugs, put them in there, tap them in with a rubber mallet, and then you've got to seal the hole and the plug with some wax. So we're going to do that. But so first of all, for the hickory logs, I've got these Shiitake mushroom spores. For the oak logs, for the sawtooth oak, I've got some hen of the woods. Now, North Spore classifies Shiitakes as a beginner level, super easy. They are really easy to grow. They're not that difficult. You don't have to maintain them really. You just have to pretty much make sure you get the right kind of wood, put them in the proper conditions, and they'll do their own thing. So this is a beginner level mushroom according to North Spore. The hen of the woods is considered to be more of a moderate to advanced level. The only reason I really went this route is, one, I did have these logs that I was going to use for something, and Shiitakes did not show to grow well in oak. So I was like, all right, let me find something that grows well in oak. And I know hen of the woods grows well in oak because I harvest wild hen of the woods, and they taste fantastic. They're really good. They're a choice edible. So I was like, well, let me just give it a try. So these may be a little more challenging to get a harvest off of, just because of apparently hen of the woods is more susceptible to being, I guess, taken over by other more dominant native mushrooms. I don't know, but I'm going to give it a try. And then lastly, which I don't have any logs for yet, but I will eventually, is I bought some blue oyster spawn. So here on the farm, we used to find oyster mushrooms all year long, just all over the place. We would harvest them, we would dry them, we would saute them and freeze them, and for whatever reason they've just stopped growing. And I haven't found oyster mushrooms in a few years now, and used to they were just everywhere. I mean, everywhere you walked you'd find them. So here's some blue oyster plugs. For these, I've got a bunch of tulip poplar trees growing all over the farm here, and then we actually had a black gum tree cut down that was dead, that was mostly dead. And these will also grow in black gum trees as well. So I'm probably going to go try to see if I can get some of these growing in the black gum trees. And then if nothing else, I'll cut down a couple of really young tulip poplars, because I've got about 1,000 of them here, and that's not a big deal. But I'll probably do that with these blue oysters. One other thing to think about when I go back to the hen of the woods, in nature, I find hen of the woods growing on white oak, dead white oak trees, or white oak trees that are in the process of dying. And I have a couple of dead white oak trees here on the farm that have just been dead for a year or two, and I may actually go to those trees and go around the base of those trees and try to drill into the base and get some of these plugs put in there, just to see if those white oak trees will begin to produce as well. So anyway, I'm going to have to go inside. We've got our wax melting for when we start plugging these, drilling and plugging and put the wax on top. After we do that, Taryn's going to go behind and she's going to paint the ends of the logs. That just kind of helps keep the ends safe from any kind of other contaminant, fungi, if you want to say it, I guess, getting into the log and messing with the spawn that you put in here. So, you ready? Ready to get started? All right, let's go get that wax and we'll get started here and we'll take you along with us on how we do this. Okay, we're going to get started with this log here on top, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down through here and I'm going to start drilling holes just spaced out every, 4 or 6 inches, something like that. And if you look at my drill, you'll see I've got a piece of electrical tape on the drill bit here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill down to that electrical tape and stop. That way I don't create a hole that's too deep and you end up with an air pocket down below the plug when you put it in. They do sell kits that you can buy for this that have a ring up here on the top, so you drill in and it gets to that ring and it stops. You can do that, but they were like $20 or something, and I was like, well, this is a drill bit that I've got already. It's the correct size, so I'm just going to improvise and I'm just going to cheat and do this. One other thing I want to point out, Taryn, can you hand me a... So when these came in the mail, you see the package looks like it's already kind of moldy on the inside. It is. I mean, you think about it. I mean, this is fungi basically. It's mushrooms. So when you pull them out, you may find one that's clean like that, or you may pull one out that's like that, that's covered with mold-looking fungus. It's okay. North Spore, which there's the package, a little bit close up of the package, what it looks like. They say that's perfectly normal. That's just the way they look. If you want to, when you go to put it in, just simply take it and wipe it like that a little bit, and it'll be just fine. So we're going to get started. Taryn's got a little rubber mallet over here behind, and we're going to go through. I'll just kind of show you the first one and demonstrate to her how we're going to do this, and then we're just going to start working through, and then at some point we're going to have to figure out a kind of a process how we're going to do this, and drill, plug, because she's also going to have to come behind me painting over the top of them with wax, and then paint the two ends. So we're going to just figure out something that works. But let's start here with putting some holes in, okay? And so I'm using my hammer drill. You heard it just start clicking just then. They make an angle grinder attachment that goes on an angle grinder. Angle grinders have a lot more torque to them, but I like using for a lot of heavy duty, high torque applications, I like using my hammer drill. My cordless hammer drill, it just seems like it has more torque than just a standard cordless drill does. So anyway, there's first hole, and like I said, I'm just going to do 4 to 6 inches, something like that. I'm just making sure the holes are good and smooth, and you see I have got a little bit up on the tape. I'm trying to stop right at the tape. Alright, so I've just made a few there. Hand me your mallet, please, babe. So you just take the rubber mallet. We're just going to tap them in there. Hand me as many plugs as we can go. And we're just going to go down through here, tapping plugs in, and I'll show you here in just a second when the wax is finished melting how that's going to work. You'll go ahead and finish tapping those others in down through there. Okay, so we've got this whole line put in here now. We got this little dauber tool, and this is just a paraffin wax, and we're just going to dab it on top to plug that hole up. Well, that gets hard fast. Man, that's crazy. Wow, that's really. And this is a special low temperature wax. Really, that's getting hard in a hurry. I mean, that goes solid pretty quickly. Anyway, we're just going to keep working through the process here, and I'll come back to you in a little bit.
I got some in the dirt.
Okay, so Tara and I just finished with the hickory logs with the shiitake mushrooms, and we ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've got 8 logs inoculated here. When I actually cut the logs and selected them, I had about twice that many. I didn't know how far the package of mushroom spores would go, so this is kind of what we ended up with, but that's not bad. We're going to load these up. I'm not going to put this part on the video, but we're going to load these up in the truck, and we're going to take them across the driveway over into the woods. And it faces to the north, so it gets the least amount of sunlight in the winter. And it's an area where I find, in the past, I've found a lot of wild mushrooms. So the conditions should be favorable for mushrooms that we have, you know, inoculated log mushrooms to grow in. So we're just going to load these up in here a little bit. I'm going to take them across the driveway, and I'm going to lay them out over there on the ground, just so that way I know where they're at. They'll be right on the other side of the driveway, easy to see from the driveway. If anything starts growing on them, we should be able to see them pretty easily. So I will say that the wax that we were using, that I bought from North Spore, it was supposed to be a low melting point wax, and supposed to be really easy to use. Well, what I found in my experience with it now, twice we've had to go reheat it because it started going solid on us super fast. I mean, when I dipped the dauber in with the little stick with the cotton ball basically on the end of it into the wax to start applying it, as soon as that wax hits the log, it's solid. And as soon as I took it out of the pot of boiling water, it started to solidify as well. So something to think about and keep in mind. You do want to put the wax on it though to keep anything from getting in. It just helps the plug to do its thing without outside contaminants getting in. So anyway, that's going to be it for this video. We're going to work on the sawtooth oaks probably tomorrow. We have to go down the road to my parents' house for a little bit, and we're not going to get to those sawtooth oak logs this evening, but that'll be the next thing we're going to do, and then I'll have to figure out what I'm going to cut down to do the blue oyster plugs. Anyway, that's it for this. Let me know if you have ever done anything like this before. I'm really excited. I've talked to a guy who did it, and he started doing it 15, 16 years old, and he started growing shiitake mushrooms commercially. The mosquitoes are just swarming us out here tonight. He grew shiitake mushrooms commercially at 16 years old and was making really good money as a 16-year-old growing mushrooms this same way. So, but we're not going to do that. We're going to use these for ourselves. We may end up selling some, but the plan is to use these for ourselves. But looking forward to sharing the results with you. Let me know if you've done anything like this and how it worked out for you. Thank you so much for watching. Look forward to sharing a lot more with you here in the coming months. Have a blessed day. Come back.